They say actions speak louder than words. But when a woman truly loves you, her actions don't scream. They whisper. They show up in small ways, so quiet you might miss them if you're not paying attention. It's not in the big, flashy moments, not in public displays, fancy gifts, or the perfect photos online. It's hidden in the everyday moments. The little glances when she thinks you're not looking. The way she remembers things about you that you forgot you even said. The way she gets quiet when you're hurting, just to give you space without needing to be asked. Most men search for loud, obvious signs. They wait for grand gestures, thinking love always looks like fireworks. But real love isn't always loud. Real love is steady. Real love is the kind that stays even when nothing exciting is happening. It shows up in the way she speaks to you when she's tired. It shows up in the way she includes you when she talks about the future, even without thinking. It's in how she listens, how she protects you when you're not around, and how she roots for you even when you don't see it. Today, I'm not here to give you fairy tales. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you the truth. Simple, real, unfiltered. Because once you understand what genuine love actually looks like, you stop chasing the wrong things. You stop confusing temporary feelings with lasting commitment. You stop wondering where you stand. You'll know, because real love, true love, feels different. It feels calm. It feels safe. It feels like being seen without having to perform. So let's talk about it. Let's get real about the signs. 7 things women do when they genuinely love you. And if you really listen, you might realize you already have something more powerful than you ever knew. Let's get into it. 1. She finds peace just being near you. When a woman truly loves you, something quiet but powerful changes inside her. It's not something you can always see on the surface. It's something deeper, something that settles into her spirit without needing permission. Your presence, just the fact that you are there, becomes more than company to her. It becomes comfort. It becomes peace. It becomes a place where she can finally let go of all the weight she carries. She doesn't need you to entertain her. She doesn't need you to impress her with stories, or charm her with jokes, or sweep her into some perfect plan every time you meet. She just needs you to be there, to exist beside her, because when you are near, her world feels softer, her heart feels lighter. The noise that usually fills her mind, the worries, the doubts, the endless pressures, all start to quiet down. You'll notice it not in grand moments, but in the small, simple ones. You'll see it when she leans into you without thinking, almost as if her body instinctively trusts yours. You'll hear it when she exhales, not from frustration or boredom, but from deep relief, the kind of breath people only take when they feel completely safe. You'll catch it in the way she closes her eyes for just a second, not because she's exhausted, but because being close to you lets her truly rest, even if just for a heartbeat. She doesn't feel the need to fill every silence with words. She doesn't feel like she has to wear a mask or keep her walls up. Around you, she can just be. Not polished, not perfect, just real. And that feeling, the ability to sit beside someone without needing to perform, without needing to explain, without needing to be more, is one of the rarest gifts love can give. Because real love isn't always a wildfire that burns bright and demands attention. Real love is often a quiet river that runs deep, steady and constant beneath the surface. It's the peace that comes from knowing you are safe with someone. It's the stillness that wraps around you like a soft blanket, reminding you that you are loved without conditions, without requirements, without fear. Sometimes, the greatest kind of love isn't the love that makes your heart race faster. It's the love that finally lets your heart slow down. The love that makes you feel like you can take off all the heavy armor you've worn for years. The armor of having to be strong all the time. The armor of having to pretend everything's okay. The armor of feeling like you have to earn love by being more, doing more, achieving more. When she finds peace just by being near you, when her shoulders drop, her laughter softens, her breathing steadies, you are witnessing something sacred. You are witnessing the kind of bond that doesn't have to announce itself to the world, because it is already woven into the quiet spaces between you. You don't need endless conversations. You don't need constant plans. You don't even need to fix her bad days. Sometimes the greatest thing you offer her is your presence, solid, calm, and unshaken. If she finds herself breathing easier because you're there, if just sitting close to you feels like coming home, then believe this. Her heart has found something rare, something true, something that doesn't need to be shouted to be real. Real love doesn't always roar. Sometimes real love simply stays silent and stays present. It's the kind of love that lets both people exhale the heavy breath they didn't even realize they were holding. It's the kind of love that doesn't ask you to be anything except exactly who you are. And sometimes, maybe most of the time, the deepest, truest love you'll ever experience won't be the love that sets your world on fire. It will be the love that lets you finally exhale and know you are home. 2. She shares her unpolished self. When a woman genuinely loves you, something inside her begins to shift. The walls she built to protect herself, the perfect smiles, the careful words, the polished version she shows to the outside world, slowly start to come down. Not because she's careless, not because she wants attention, but because her heart begins to believe something rare, that you are safe. At first, she might still hide behind a little extra laughter. She might still try to present the best version of herself, the one who seems strong all the time, happy all the time, effortless all the time. Because for so long, she's been taught that's what she's supposed to do. That's how she's supposed to survive. But real love changes everything. Real love tells her, maybe for the first time in her life, that she doesn't have to be perfect to be worthy, that she doesn't have to hide her flaws to be loved, that even the messy, complicated, imperfect parts of her are allowed to be seen and still accepted. She begins to let you see the sides of her that she normally protects like treasure. You'll notice it in the small ways first. The days when she lets her guard down and laughs so hard she snorts, and instead of apologizing, she just smiles. The moments when her face crumples into tears and she doesn't rush to wipe them away or hide her sadness. The nights when she tells you stories she's never told anyone before. The painful moments, the hidden scars, the memories that still hurt if you touch them the wrong way. She shows you the mornings when she feels insecure. She shows you the fears she's carried silently for years. Fears of not being enough, fears of being abandoned, fears of being misunderstood or forgotten. She shows you the old wounds that never fully closed, the dreams she's too scared to chase, the parts of herself she's always been told were too much or not enough. And she's not doing this to burden you. She's not doing it because she wants you to fix her. She's doing it because, deep down, she trusts you. She's doing it because somewhere inside her, she believes you will stay, even after seeing the parts of her she used to think were unlovable. You are safe ground for her. You are the place she can finally put down her heavy emotional armor. And that is not a small thing. That is not casual. That is sacred. Because real love doesn't live on the highlight reel. Real love lives in the quiet moments when the masks come off. It lives in the brave, terrifying decision to let someone see you, fully, honestly, without the polish and filters. When a woman loves you enough to show you her unedited self, she is giving you something precious. Her rawness, her humanity, her trust. She's saying, without needing to speak it out loud, "This is me, not the version I show the world, not the version that's easy to love. This is the real me, and I'm trusting you to love me here too." And if you are wise, you will see that this is not weakness. It is strength. It is a strength forged through years of hiding, years of surviving, years of learning that most people love the mask but not the person underneath. And now, she is choosing to be seen. Not because it's easy, but because she believes you are worth the risk. If she trusts you enough to be her full, unpolished, imperfect self around you, if she trusts you enough to let her voice crack, her laughter burst, her tears fall, then you are not just someone passing through her life. You are someone she has handed a part of her heart to. And love like that, the kind that trusts you with both the beauty and the brokenness, is a love rarer and stronger than almost anything else you will ever find. Protect it. Honor it. Because when someone shows you who they really are, and still hopes you'll stay, they are giving you a gift that cannot be bought, earned, or replaced. 3. She remembers the tiny things. When a woman genuinely loves you, she notices things about you that most of the world would overlook. She pays attention, not because she's trying to impress you, not because she's keeping score, but because everything about you, even the smallest pieces, matter to her in a way that words can't fully explain. She listens differently. She doesn't just wait for her turn to speak. She doesn't listen out of politeness or because she's supposed to. She listens with her heart wide open. She listens because your words, your stories, your little habits, they are a part of the man she's come to love. She remembers the tiny things, the way your face lights up when you talk about something that moves you, the way your voice softens when you speak about your family, about your childhood, about your dreams, the way you fidget with your hands when you're nervous, even when you think nobody notices. She picks up on these small, unspoken truths because to her, they're not small at all. They are windows into your soul. It's not the big events or grand gestures that stay imprinted on her memory the longest. It's not just the birthdays, the anniversaries, the trips and celebrations, though she treasures those too. It's the quiet conversations you had at midnight when both of you were too tired to pretend. It's the story you once told her about how you used to fall asleep to the crackling of your grandfather's radio and the comfort that sound still brings you today. It's that offhand comment you made about a song that once made you feel free, and how, without announcing it, she plays that same song in her car, just to see your eyes soften again. She holds on to these moments like treasures. She doesn't just hear what you say, she feels the meaning underneath it. And she weaves those meanings into the way she loves you, without being asked, without needing a reminder, without turning it into a performance. It's the way she brings home your favorite snack after a hard week, not because you asked for it, but because she remembered it always made you smile. It's the way she texts you a random quote from a movie you love, just because something in her day reminded her of you. It's the way she can look across a crowded room and notice the weariness in your eyes before you even say a word. She gathers these pieces of you, one by one, with care and devotion, not the polished pieces, not the curated ones you show to the outside world, but the real ones. The ones you don't even realize you're revealing, the ones you maybe thought no one would ever take the time to see. In a world full of people who listen halfway and forget quickly, real love shows itself in memory. Real love lingers in the details. Real love remembers the little things that, over time, build a map of who you truly are. Because when a woman genuinely loves you, you are not just another voice in the noise. You are not just another face she passes by. You are part of her inner world now. You are stitched into the way she experiences life. Her memory of you isn't forced. It isn't polished. It isn't something she struggles to maintain. It's natural. It's honest. It's as easy and as real as breathing. When she remembers the little things you thought no one else would notice, when she brings them back to you in 100 small, beautiful ways, know this: you are not just someone she spends time with. You are someone she is choosing again and again, every day, in the small ways that matter most. Even when she's busy, even when life is overwhelming, even when the world feels chaotic, a part of her is always holding on to the pieces of you that feel most like home. If you ever wonder how deep her love really runs, don't just look for the grand declarations. Don't just look for the big gifts or the bold moves. Look at the way she remembers. Look at the way she tucks away the tiny details of you as if there's something precious. Because they are. Because you are. And real love, the kind that lasts, the kind that weathers time and storms, is built not in the grand, sweeping moments, but in the millions of tiny, quiet choices to care, to listen, to remember, and to never let the small things that made you you be forgotten. When she remembers like this, when she loves you like this, know that you have found something rare, something real, something that will not fade. Because love, real love, is not about remembering the obvious. It's about treasuring the things no one else bothered to notice and holding on to them like they were always meant to be cherished. 4. She protects your name when you're not around. When a woman truly loves you, her loyalty becomes something so real, so deep, that you can almost feel it, even when you're not around to witness it. It's not just something she says in pretty words. It's not something she puts on display when people are watching. It's something she lives, quietly, firmly, day after day, whether anyone sees it or not. Real loyalty shows up in the invisible places. It shows up in rooms where you aren't there to defend yourself. It shows up in conversations where your name is thrown around carelessly, sometimes in jokes, sometimes in criticism, sometimes in little sideways remarks that most people would let slide. But she doesn't let it slide. She doesn't brush it off. She doesn't pretend not to hear it, even if it would be easier to stay silent, even if no one would blame her for staying out of it, even if stepping in might make her the only one speaking up. She chooses you anyway. She chooses to protect you anyway, because something inside her, deeper than pride, deeper than fear, refuses to let your name be dragged through the mud, even a little. She knows who you are behind the scenes. She knows your heart, the way you fight battles nobody sees, the way you keep showing up for your life even when it's heavy, the way you carry dreams, responsibilities, and doubts without asking for applause. She knows the quiet strength you live with, the goodness that the world might overlook, the truth of who you are when nobody's looking. And because she knows, she protects, fiercely, instinctively, without hesitation. When someone loves you deeply, protecting your name becomes as natural as breathing. She doesn't have to think about whether she should step in. She just does it. Not to create drama, not to draw attention, not to earn points or admiration. She does it because her love will not allow her to be part of any space that disrespects you, even in small ways. Most of the time, you'll never even know. You'll never hear the story. You'll never see the small battles she fought for you with just a few quiet words, or even with just a look that said, "That's enough." Because real loyalty doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't need a spotlight or a stage. It acts simply because it cannot bear to do anything else. In a world where staying neutral is often the easy way out, where people avoid conflict, where people let small injustices slide because it's more comfortable, A woman who truly loves you will choose discomfort over disrespect. She will choose standing alone over sitting silently, because to her, your name is tied to hers. Your dignity is part of the world she protects. When she loves you, defending you isn't an obligation. It's a reflection of the place you hold inside her heart. She guards your reputation, your goodness, your truth, as if they are sacred. Not out of fear, not out of ego, but out of love. The kind of love that is deep, steady, and unshakable. The kind of love that shows its strength, not when things are easy, but when doing the right thing costs something. If you ever wonder how deeply a woman loves you, pay attention to how she treats your name when you're not around. If she defends you when you aren't there to see it. If she protects your character when others try to shrink it down. If she holds firm when it would be easier to stay silent. Then you have something rare in your life. Something most people never find. Something too precious to ever take for granted. Because real love isn't just whispered in your ear. It's lived out loud, even in the silent, unseen moments. It's the shield that is raised when your back is turned. It's the strength that holds your honor safe when you're not there to guard it yourself. And that kind of loyalty, that kind of fierce, quiet strength, is one of the rarest, purest forms of love you will ever know. It doesn't shout, it doesn't boast, it simply stands. And it stands, always, in your defense. 5. She makes plans with you without thinking. Twice. When a woman genuinely loves you, her vision of the future changes in ways she might not even notice at first. It doesn't happen because she sits down one day and makes a checklist of where you fit. It doesn't happen because she's trying to force anything to happen faster than it should. It happens the same way the seasons change, slowly, naturally, almost invisibly, but powerfully. When she thinks about next month, next year, the next chapter of her life, your presence is already woven into it. You're not a question mark she's unsure about. You're not a space she's wondering if she should leave open. You're a part of her landscape now, a part of her dreams, her daily rhythms, her hopes. And it doesn't take heavy conversations to reveal it. You won't hear it in the pressured, nervous talks about where is this going every few weeks. You'll hear it in the tiny things she says without thinking, in the way she casually mentions, we should go to that concert next summer. In the way she says, I wonder if this city would feel like home for us one day. In the way she pictures holidays, lazy Sundays, late-night talks, and you're simply there, as natural as breathing. There's no awkwardness when she speaks about the future. No checking your face to see if you'll panic. No walking on eggshells trying to hint and hope. She speaks about the future with a quiet, steady kind of certainty, because loving you already feels like a part of her own future unfolding. You're not an option she's weighing. You're not a backup plan. You're not someone she's trying to convince herself to fit into her life. You are the life she wants to build. You are already part of the dreams she's sketching in her mind. And it's not loud or showy. It's not announcements or grand declarations. It's the small decisions she makes without second thought. It's picking up your favorite coffee without even asking. It's choosing 2 tickets instead of 1, instinctively, because of course you're coming too. It's the way she looks at apartments, neighborhoods, even cities, with your presence quietly sitting in the back of her mind, like the most natural thing in the world. She doesn't imagine a perfect life. She doesn't daydream about a fairy tale romance where everything is effortless. She knows real love means messy kitchens, tired arguments, hard conversations, shared burdens. She knows real life means stress, confusion, compromise, and moments when everything feels a little too heavy. And even knowing all of that, even seeing the imperfect road ahead, she still sees you walking beside her. That's the beauty of real love. It's not naive, it's not blind, it's clear-eyed. It knows things will get hard, and it still chooses. She doesn't build a future and wonder if you'll fit. She builds it with you already in it, because at her core, she's not planning for a life she might have to live without you. She's planning for a life she's hoping to share, through all the ups, the downs, the laughter, the failures, the rebuilding. If you find yourself not just in her present, but quietly embedded in her plans for tomorrow. If you find yourself written into her dreams without her needing to explain why, know this: you are not just someone she loves for the moment. You are someone she is choosing for a lifetime. And here's the deeper truth most people never realize. Real love doesn't just live in today. It leaks forward into tomorrow. It plants seeds in seasons not yet seen. It starts building bridges across rivers you haven't even come to yet. When she dreams about the next chapter, and you're already part of the story, without fear, without pressure, without needing to ask for permission, you are standing somewhere sacred. You are standing inside a heart that has made its decision quietly, bravely, and completely. A heart that isn't waiting for the perfect day to love you fully. A heart that's already loving you, today, tomorrow, and every ordinary day after that. No force, no games, no fear, just real, steady love, reaching into the future and taking your hand with it. 6. She challenges you to stay true to yourself. When a woman truly loves you, her love reaches far beyond standing beside you when life is easy, when everything looks polished, when you're winning without breaking a sweat. Her love goes deeper. It becomes something fierce and unshakable, something that refuses to watch you settle for a life smaller than the one you're capable of living. She doesn't just love the version of you that the world applauds. She doesn't just love the man you are today, the man who smiles, who handles things, who seems like he's got it all under control. She loves the man you are still becoming, the man with dreams that haven't been reached yet, the man with strength he hasn't fully stepped into yet, the man who has wounds that haven't fully healed yet, and yet still shows up to fight for more. Because of that love, she can't and won't stay silent when she sees you drifting from your greatness. She sees your light even when you forget it's there. She sees your strength even when you're tired of carrying the weight. She sees your gifts even when you've buried them under fear, laziness, or self-doubt. She watches you, not to judge you, not to control you, but because she cares too much to pretend everything is fine when it's not. She sees the moments when you lower your standards. She notices the excuses you try to hide inside jokes or sarcasm. She hears the resignation in your voice when you start talking about your goals like they're things you maybe might do someday. And because she loves you, she steps into those moments, even when it's hard, even when she knows you might resist, even when she knows it might sting your pride. She won't always tell you what you want to hear. In fact, the truest thing she can offer you is the thing that will sometimes make you uncomfortable. She'll remind you of who you are, not to shame you, but to call you back to yourself. She'll challenge you when you start shrinking. She'll push you when you settle. She'll ask you the questions you've been trying to avoid, the ones that force you to face your own reflection and admit, I could be more. Because her love isn't built on comfort. It's built on courage. The courage to be honest, even when it risks tension. The courage to believe in you harder than you sometimes believe in yourself. She knows what you're capable of. She knows that inside you is a man with the power to shape a life that's meaningful, strong, and true. And she refuses to stand by quietly while you live beneath that power. She doesn't challenge you because she sees you as weak. She challenges you because she sees you as strong. Strong enough to rise, strong enough to fight back, strong enough to become even more than you are right now. Her love believes that you are not finished. You are still growing, still building, still reaching toward the man you were always meant to be. Real love doesn't just make you feel good. It doesn't just stroke your ego and pat you on the back. Real love makes you grow. It makes you uncomfortable sometimes, in the best possible way. It nudges you back onto the path when you drift. It lights a fire in you when your spirit starts to flicker. She is not trying to change you into someone you're not. She's not trying to mold you into a version she prefers. She's simply refusing to let you forget the man you already are and the man you're capable of becoming. And deep down, even when her words sting, even when her honesty feels heavy, some part of you knows. You know it's not criticism. You know it's not rejection. You know it's not attack. It's love. Strong love. Real love. The kind of love that says, I see you. I believe in you. I refuse to let you give up on yourself. It's easy to love someone when they're shining. It's easy to stand beside someone when they're winning. But it's a rare and beautiful thing to love someone enough to fight for their highest self, even when they can't see it clearly themselves. If you have a woman who challenges you when you start slipping, who reminds you of your dreams when you start doubting, who stands her ground when you try to convince yourself that good enough is enough, then you have something rare. You have someone brave enough to hold up a mirror and strong enough to love you through every uncomfortable reflection. She's not just standing beside the man you are today. She's walking with the man you are still becoming. The man who will one day look back and realize he didn't walk that hard road alone. He had someone who loved him enough to make sure he kept moving forward, even when it was easier to stand still. And if you recognize that kind of love in your life, if you feel that challenge that stirs something deeper in you, then understand this. You don't just have a partner. You have a mirror, a guide, a warrior, a witness to your full, unfinished, brilliant story. And if you are wise, truly wise, you will thank her, not just with words, but with growth, with strength, with becoming the man she already sees when she looks at you with eyes full of belief. Because that's what real love does. It doesn't just hold your hand, it holds your standard. It doesn't just comfort you where you are. It calls you to rise higher than you ever thought you could. 7. She stays through your storms, not just your sunshine. Anyone can love you when the sun is shining, when your laughter comes easily, when your wins stack up like trophies on a shelf, when your future looks wide open and full of promise. Everyone wants to be near that kind of light. It's easy to love the man who's confident, who knows where he's going, who walks into a room carrying certainty on his shoulders. It's easy to be part of the story when everything is beautiful, when the world is clapping for you, when life feels smooth and simple. But the real test of love, the deepest, most honest kind, doesn't happen in those moments. It happens in the storms. It happens when the sun disappears and the sky cracks open and life gets brutally, painfully hard. When you're tired beyond anything you've felt before. When you're doubting yourself in ways that scare you. When you fall to your knees under the weight of everything you thought you could carry. It happens when you don't have answers, when you don't have direction, when you barely recognize the man staring back at you in the mirror, when every ounce of your strength has been stripped away and all that's left is the raw, uncertain version of you, the version that wonders if anyone would still choose to stay. That's when you find out what love really looks like. Because the woman who truly loves you won't vanish when things get messy. She won't disappear the moment you lose your shine. She won't only love you when you're strong, confident, and sure. She'll sit with you in your weakness. She'll hold your hand even when your hands are trembling. She'll sit in the quiet, in the darkness, in the confusion. Not because she knows how to fix it, but because she refuses to leave you alone inside it. She doesn't stay because it's easy. She doesn't stay because it's convenient. She stays because her heart recognizes your soul beneath the struggle. She stays because she sees the man underneath the wreckage. The man who's still fighting, still breathing, still trying, even when everything feels impossible. She stays because she knows your worth isn't tied to your wins. Your value isn't measured by how flawless you look to the outside world. Your strength isn't proven by how perfectly you move through life. Your true worth shows up in the simple, brutal courage it takes to keep showing up when nothing feels sure. To keep fighting when the outcome is uncertain. To keep loving, living, reaching, even when everything inside you feels broken. She's not waiting for the after version of you. She's not holding her breath hoping one day you'll become flawless. She's not clinging to a dream of a man who never struggles, never falls, never questions. She's loving you now, right here, in the middle of the storm, in the middle of the rebuilding, in the moments when you don't even love yourself fully. She's the one who still sees your light when all you see are shadows. She's the one who speaks strength into you when your own voice goes silent. She's the one who anchors you when everything else feels like it's crumbling beneath your feet. And it's not dramatic. It's not flashy. It's not about grand speeches or public displays. It's quiet. It's steady. It's patient beyond words. It's her simply being there, still there, when everything else feels like it's falling apart. This is what real love looks like. Not the fairy tale kind you see in movies. Not the flawless love without struggle or sacrifice, but the love that digs its roots deep into the hardest soil and holds firm when the winds of life try to tear everything down. If you have a woman who stays when you feel unworthy, if you have someone who loves you through the confusion, the fear, the failure, the long nights when you wonder if you're enough, then you have something most people spend their whole lives searching for and still never find. Don't take it lightly. Don't overlook it because it feels quiet. Real love, the kind that survives storms, doesn't need fireworks. It doesn't need applause. It shows itself in the way she chooses you, again and again, even when everything about you feels heavy and uncertain. It shows itself in the way her hand stays in yours, not just when you're standing tall, but when you're struggling to stand at all. It shows itself in the way she looks at you with the same love, even when your armor has cracked wide open. If you have found a woman like that, you have found more than love. You have found home. You have found a shelter for your soul. Real love doesn't just celebrate you when you're winning. Real love holds you when you're collapsing. It lifts your head when you can't lift it yourself. It reminds you, even in your darkest hours, that you are still worthy, that you are still seen, that you are still enough. It's not perfect, it's not easy, it's not without cost. But it is real. And when you find it, when you truly find it, you'll realize it's the rarest, most sacred gift this life will ever offer you. Hold on to it, cherish it, and if you are wise, never let it go. If you're the kind of man who's tired of the noise, tired of the endless games, tired of shallow advice that never touches anything deeper than the surface, tired of hearing the same empty words from people who don't understand what it really takes to build something real, then maybe you're exactly where you need to be right now. Maybe you're not looking for another quick fix. Maybe you're not chasing shortcuts anymore. Maybe you're not interested in being another man pretending he's fine when he's quietly falling apart inside. Maybe you're searching for something real, something lasting, something that doesn't break the second the world pushes back, something strong enough to stand when the storms come, because they will come. And if that's you, then listen carefully. We've built something different here. Not a place for flexing. Not a place for pretending to have it all together. Not a place to perform for approval or applause. This is a quiet place, a steady place. A brotherhood built on something deeper, where the work isn't about being impressive, it's about being honest. Where the goal isn't to flash success, it's to build strength. The kind that no one can take away from you. It's a private space, a gathering of men who are serious. Serious about growing stronger the right way. Serious about finding calm when the world around them screams for their attention. Serious about building a life that isn't just measured by status or money, but by peace, purpose, and presence. A place for men who are done lying to themselves, done running from the hard questions, done looking for shortcuts and easy applause. A place for men who want more truth inside their own minds, more power over their own choices, more honesty in their relationships, more courage in the way they live their lives, even when nobody's watching. And it's not for everyone. It's not supposed to be. Because real growth isn't comfortable. Real growth doesn't happen by accident. Real strength is not built by accident. It's built by choice, by discipline, by the quiet, repeated decision to rise again and again, especially on the days when it would be easier to stay the same. If that sounds like the kind of journey you've been searching for. If your heart feels a little too big for the smallness of this noisy, shallow world, then the door is open. There's a place for you here. The link is in the description. No shouting, no tricks, no pressure. Just a door, quiet, steady, waiting for the man who is ready to walk through it with courage, with humility, and with a willingness to evolve. And if you remember nothing else from everything we've talked about today, if you forget every story, every example, every piece of advice, then remember this: real love doesn't shout. It doesn't need to be loud to be strong. It doesn't need to be perfect to be true. It doesn't need to flash and glitter to be valuable. Real love stays. It stays steady when the world shakes. It stands taller when the storms hit. It holds you when you crumble. It doesn't run when things get heavy. It doesn't quit when loving you gets hard. It doesn't disappear when you stumble, fall, doubt yourself, or break apart for a little while. Real love, the kind you were made to receive and the kind you were made to give, isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's about endurance. It's about a loyalty so deep, so unshakable, that even the worst storms can't uproot it. In a world full of noise, of fading promises, of hollow connections, the ones who stay, the ones who choose to love fully, to grow steadily, to fight for something real, they are the ones who change everything. And that's the kind of man you are meant to be. This isn't about being flawless. It's not about winning every battle or having all the answers. It's about being rooted. It's about standing when others fold. It's about becoming a man who doesn't just survive the storms, but learns how to walk through them with peace, with strength, and with love that doesn't quit. The choice is yours. The door is open. And if you're ready, truly ready, I'll see you on the inside.